I'm sorry, but this isn't working anymore. I'm done.
How can you say that? You can't just leave me.
I always believed love meant trust. I was wrong, but I didn't know that then. I built my small business from nothing, just me, a laptop, and long nights. When I met Lily, I thought all the struggle finally meant something. Why do you work so much? Lily asked me once. Because I want a future, I said. For us. She smiled and held my hand. Then don't forget to live in the present too. I laughed. The present is you. The future is also you. She liked that answer. Lily always liked answers that sounded like promises. I meant every word I said, and that was my first mistake. My best friend Mark didn't think the same way. You're paying for everything again. Mark asked when we were at a cafe. She forgot her wallet, I said. She always forgets her wallet, Mark said. I sighed. We are building a life together. What's mine is hers. Mark looked at me for a long time. Just make sure what's hers is also yours. I didn't like that sentence, so I changed the topic. I didn't want logic. I wanted love. That night Lily called me. Hey, she said softly. Are you busy? I'm never too busy for you, I said. I miss you, she said. Then come over. I can't. I have so many bills this month. I'm really stressed. How much do you need? I asked. There was a small silence, then she said, I don't want to ask you for money again. You're not asking, I said. I'm giving. You're too good to me, she said. No, I said quietly. I just love you. I paid her rent that month. And the month after that. I paid for our trips, our dinners, her shopping, and even her old debt. Every time she said thank you, I felt like I was investing in our future, not spending money. One night we were walking after dinner, and she held my arm and said, Where do you see us in 5 years? I see a house, I said. Not big, but warm. I see you complaining about the kitchen, and I see me pretending to fix things I don't understand. She laughed. And kids? Do you want kids? I asked. Maybe one, she said. If you promise to be a good dad. I'll be a great dad, I said. But only if you promise to be my wife. She stopped walking and looked at me. Are you serious? I've never been more serious, I said. She hugged me so tight that I thought I had already won in life. A few days later, Mark came to my office. I need to ask you something, he said. Okay, I said. Are you sure Lily loves you? I looked at him and laughed a little. You don't see how she looks at me. I see how she looks at your wallet, he said. That's not fair, I said. I hope I'm wrong, Mark said. I really hope I'm wrong. I didn't want to hear more, so I told him to drop the topic. He raised his hands and said, Fine. Just don't say I didn't warn you. That night I went to Lily's apartment to surprise her with her favorite cake. When I got close to the door, I heard her talking on the phone. I know, she said. He trusts me. Of course he does. I stopped walking. I just need a little more time, she said. Once things are stable, I'll be fine. There was a pause, and then she laughed softly. Don't worry. He won't say no. He never says no to me. I stood there in silence, holding the cake, telling myself I was overthinking, telling myself love meant trust, and trust meant not asking questions I was afraid to hear the answers to. I whispered, She loves me. I know she does. But my voice didn't sound confident. I walked away before she opened the door, and Mark called me as I reached my car. Did you surprise her? He asked. Yeah, I said slowly. You could say that. What does that mean? He asked. It means I heard something I wasn't supposed to hear, I said. There was silence, then Mark said, Tell me. I will, I said. Just not tonight. You sound different, he said. I'm just tired, I replied. That's all. But as I drove home, I kept hearing her voice in my head, and for the first time, I felt something I didn't want to feel. Doubt. I told myself I was imagining things, that love needed trust, and trust meant silence. So I chose silence, even though my heart was starting to get scared. But I still loved her more than anything in life. I started noticing the pattern. but I kept lying to myself. Hey, are you free tonight? Lily asked on the phone. I am, I said. Do you want to have dinner? There was a small pause. Actually, I wanted to ask you something. I smiled, but she couldn't see it. How much do you need? You know me too well, she said softly. It's okay, I said. Just tell me. I'm a little short on rent again, she said. I'll pay you back this time. I promise. You don't have to promise, I said. I trust you. I love you, she said quickly. I love you too, I replied, but after the call ended, I sat there staring at my phone, feeling something heavy in my chest. A few days later, I tried to talk about our future again. Lily, can we talk about something serious? I asked while we were having coffee. She sighed. Why does everything have to be serious with you? Because I'm serious about you, I said. I want to talk about marriage. She looked away. Not now. When? I asked. Why are you rushing me? She said, her voice getting colder. Can't you just be happy with what we have? I am happy, I said. I just want to plan our future. You're stressing me out, she said. Every time we meet, you talk about marriage, money, savings. It's boring. Boring. I repeated. Yes, she said. Life is not just budgets and plans. I stayed quiet for a moment. I'm not talking about budgets. I'm talking about building a life together. She didn't reply. She just checked her phone and changed the topic. That was the moment I should have understood, but I didn't. I told myself she was just scared, not dishonest. One evening I met her friend Sarah for the first time. Lily was late, so it was just me and Sarah sitting at the table. So you're the famous boyfriend, Sarah said with a small smile. Famous? I asked. Lily talks about you, she said. You're very generous. I laughed a little. I just help her when she needs it. Sarah looked at me for a few seconds like she wanted to say something but wasn't sure if she should. What? I asked. Nothing, she said. It's just. Lily always dates successful guys. I felt something cold in my stomach. What do you mean always? She realized what she said and tried to fix it. I mean, she likes ambitious men. Men who have money goals, you know. Yeah, I said slowly. Money goals. Lily arrived a few minutes later, and Sarah didn't say anything else, but the words stayed in my head. That night I asked Lily directly, have you dated rich guys before me? I asked. She looked shocked. Why would you ask me that? Sarah mentioned something, I said. She suddenly looked hurt. So now you're investigating me. I'm not investigating, I said. I'm asking. She stood up. I can't believe this. After everything, you don't trust me. I didn't say that, I said. You're calling me a gold digger, she said, her eyes filling with tears. I never said that, I said again. You don't have to say it, she whispered. I can feel it. She started crying, and people began looking at us. I felt like the worst person in the world. I'm sorry, I said quickly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. She wiped her tears. I loved you because you were kind, not because you had money. I know, I said. But if you think I'm that kind of girl, she said, then maybe you don't know me at all. I said I'm sorry, I repeated. Please don't cry. She sat down again, and I held her hand. In that moment, I stopped trusting my own thoughts and started trusting her tears instead. Later that night, I told Mark everything. She cried, and you apologized. Mark said. Yes, I said. You're blind, he said. No, I replied. I'm in love. You're being used, he said. That's not true, I said, my voice getting louder. Wake up, Mark said. She only calls you when she needs money. That's not true, I repeated, but this time my voice was weaker. Mark looked at me and shook his head. I'm your friend, so I'm telling you the truth. One day this is going to hurt you. It won't, I said, because she loves me. He didn't argue anymore. He just said, I hope you're right. 2 days later Lily called me again, late at night. Are you awake? she asked. Yes, I said. What happened? I have a big problem, she said, her voice shaking. It's an emergency. What kind of emergency? I asked. I can't tell you everything right now, she said. But I need a large amount of money. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. I held the phone and felt my chest tighten. Something felt wrong, but I still said yes, because I told myself love means trust, and I agreed anyway. I remember that night very clearly because it was the night I stopped being blind. I stood outside Lily's apartment holding a small gift. She's going to smile, I whispered to myself. She's going to hug me and say she missed me. I was about to knock when I heard her voice from inside. She was laughing. I'm telling you, Jason, he really believes I love him, she said. I froze. My hand stopped in the air. I heard a man's voice through the door. So why are you still with him? She laughed again. Because he's useful. My heart started beating so hard I could hear it in my ears. Useful how? Jason asked. He pays for everything, she said. Rent, food, trips, even my debt. And you don't feel bad? Jason asked. There was a small silence, then she said something that destroyed me. He's not my boyfriend, she said. He's my wallet. I couldn't breathe. Jason laughed. So what's the plan? I just need a little more time, she said. Once he helps me open my business, I'm leaving him. And what if he finds out? Jason asked. He won't, she said confidently. He trusts me too much. He would never believe it. I felt my hand shaking. The gift fell from my hand, but I caught it before it made a sound. Jason spoke again. And you? Do you love him at all? She answered without even thinking. No. I love you. He's just a step. That sentence felt like someone stabbed me in the chest. I stood there for a long time, staring at the door, listening to the woman I loved talk about me like I was nothing. I wanted to knock. I wanted to go inside and ask her, why? I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to break something. But instead, I did nothing. I walked away quietly. When I reached my car, my hands were still shaking. I sat inside and looked at my phone. Her name was on the screen. Lily. My Lily. Or maybe she was never mine. I called Mark. He answered quickly. Hey, what's up? I didn't speak for a few seconds. Hello. Mark said. Are you there? I heard her, I said finally. There was silence. Heard what? He asked. I heard everything, I said. She was with another man. His name is Jason. Mark didn't interrupt. I continued. She said I'm not her boyfriend. She said I'm her wallet. Mark swore quietly. I'm coming to you. Where are you? In my car, I said. I can't move. Stay there, he said. I'll be there in 10 minutes. When he arrived, he got into the passenger seat and looked at me. You look like you saw a ghost, he said. I saw the truth, I replied. Tell me exactly what happened, he said. So I told him everything. Every word. Every laugh. Every lie. When I finished, Mark punched the dashboard. I knew it. I knew something was wrong. I feel stupid, I said quietly. You're not stupid, he said. You loved her. That's the same thing, I said. He looked at me. What are you going to do now? Are you going to confront her? I thought about it. I imagined her crying, lying, apologizing, manipulating, and I felt tired. Very tired. No, I said. No. Mark repeated. I'm not going to confront her, I said. I'm going to do something else. What? He asked. I looked straight ahead and said, I'm going to pretend I lost everything. Mark frowned. What do you mean? I'm going to tell her my business failed, I said. I'm going to tell her I lost all my money. He stared at me for a few seconds, then slowly nodded. You want to see what she does when the money disappears? Yes, I said. And if she leaves? He asked. I swallowed and said, then I'll know she was never mine. Mark leaned back in the seat. That's a risky plan. I already lost her, I said. Now I just want the truth without the lies. He was quiet for a moment, then he said, "Okay. I'm with you." "Thank you," I said. "But promise me something," Mark added. "What?" I asked. "Promise me that after this, no matter what happens, you won't go back to her." I looked at my hands and remembered her voice saying, "Here's just a wallet." "I promise," I said. That night I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I just stopped loving her. And that was the beginning of the end. I called Lily the next morning. "Hey," she said sweetly. "I was just thinking about you." "I need to tell you something," I said. "What happened?" she asked, her voice suddenly serious. "My business failed," I said quietly. "I lost everything." There was silence on the phone. Long silence. "What do you mean everything?" she asked. "I mean everything," I said. "I have debts. I had to sell my car. I might have to move to a smaller apartment." She didn't speak for a few seconds. Then she said, "But, how did this happen?" "Bad investment," I said. "I trusted the wrong people." That's terrible," she said. "I'm so sorry." "I didn't want to tell you," I said. "I didn't want you to worry." "We'll figure something out," she said. "We are together, right?" "Yes," I said, even though I knew I was lying and she was lying too. For the first few days, she acted like nothing changed. "Don't worry," she told me. "Money comes and goes." "I'm trying to fix things," I said. "I believe in you," she said. But after a week, I started noticing the change. "Can we go to that restaurant tonight?" I asked her on the phone. "It's too expensive," she said quickly. "We don't have to order much," I said. "No, it's okay," she replied. "I'm tired anyway." The next day I texted her. Me, "Good morning. Want to meet today?" Her, "Busy today." Before, she used to call me 10 times a day. Now she replied with one-word messages. I told Mark everything while we were sitting in my new small apartment. "This place is depressing," Mark said, looking around. "It's part of the plan," I said. "You really sold your car," he said. "I told you I would make it believable," I replied. He sat down and looked at me. "How is she reacting?" "At first she was supportive," I said. "Now she's different." "Different how?" he asked. "She's always busy," I said. "She doesn't call me anymore. She doesn't ask how I'm doing. She doesn't talk about the future anymore." Mark nodded slowly. "You're seeing the real her now." I leaned back and closed my eyes. "It still hurts." "I know," he said. "But you needed the truth." A few days later I met Lily for coffee. She arrived late. "Sorry," she said. "Traffic." "It's okay," I said. She looked at the menu and then at me. "This place is expensive." "We can go somewhere else," I said. "No, it's fine," she said, but she didn't order anything. Just coffee. We sat in silence for a minute. "So, how are things?" she asked. "I'm trying," I said. "I applied for some jobs. I'm cutting expenses. I'll recover slowly." "That's good," she said, but she didn't look at me when she said it. "I might have to move even farther from the city," I said. She nodded. "That makes sense." "You could come visit," I said. "We'll see," she replied. "We'll see." She used to say, "I can't wait to see you." Now it was "we'll see." "Do you still believe in us?" I asked her quietly. She looked surprised. "Why would you ask that?" "Because everything feels different," I said. She sighed. "You're just stressed because of money." "Maybe," I said. "But I need to know if you're still with me." She looked at her phone, then back at me. "I don't know." Those 3 words hurt more than everything else. "You don't know." I repeated. "I mean, things are different now," she said. "Your life is different. Everything is uncertain." "I'm still the same person," I said. She didn't reply. I looked at her and realized something in her eyes was gone. The warmth was gone. The excitement was gone. The love was gone. A week later she called me at night. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I replied. I've been thinking, she said. About what? I asked. About us, she said. I already knew what she was going to say, but I stayed silent. I think we need a break, she said softly. I closed my eyes and held the phone tighter. A break? I asked. Yes, she said. Just until things get better. Until my money comes back. I asked quietly. She didn't answer. That silence told me everything I needed to know. The day after the breakup, Mark came to my apartment and threw a set of keys on the table. What's this? I asked. My office spare key, he said. You're not going to sit here and feel sorry for yourself. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, I said. You look like you haven't slept, he replied. I haven't, I said. He crossed his arms. Good. Then use that pain. Work. I am working, I said. I'm starting again. New name. New company. No one connects it to me. Mark nodded slowly. Good. Very good. I'm not doing this for revenge, I said. Then for what? He asked. For me, I said. I want my life back. A week later, Mark introduced me to Daniel. We sat in a quiet office, and Daniel looked at me for a long time before speaking. So you lost everything? He asked. Yes, I said. And what did you learn? He asked. I thought for a moment. I learned that trust is expensive. He smiled a little. Good answer. Mark said, he's smart. He just trusted the wrong person. Daniel nodded. That happens. Business and love are the same. Both can make you rich or destroy you. I'm trying to rebuild, I said. But quietly. Quietly is good, Daniel said. Silence is power. When no one knows what you're doing, no one can stop you. I don't want anyone to know, I said. Especially her. Daniel asked. I looked at him. Especially her. Daniel leaned forward. Then listen carefully. Don't chase money. Build value. Money will chase you. I understand, I said. No, he said calmly. You understand the words. Now you need to understand the meaning. After that day, I started working harder than ever. I didn't go out. I didn't call anyone except Mark and Daniel. I didn't check Lily's social media for 2 weeks. Then one night, I made the mistake of checking. I saw a picture of Lily and Jason at an expensive restaurant. She was smiling the same way she used to smile with me. I called Mark. I made a mistake, I said. What happened? He asked. I checked her social media, I said. And? He asked. She's with him, I said. Publicly. Restaurants, trips, parties. Mark was quiet for a moment. Does it hurt? He asked. Yes, I said honestly. But not the same way. What do you mean? He asked. Before, I felt heartbroken, I said. Now I feel awake. That's good, Mark said. I finally understand everything, I said. She didn't love me. She loved what I gave her. And now? He asked. Now he's giving her those things, I said. And how does that make you feel? Mark asked. I thought for a moment. Calm. Calm, he repeated. Yes, I said. Because now I'm not confused anymore. The next day I met Daniel again. You look different, he said. I stopped lying to myself, I replied. Good, he said. That's the first step to becoming dangerous. I don't want to be dangerous, I said. He smiled slightly. Everyone who says that becomes very dangerous. I sat down and said, I don't want revenge. I just want to win my life back. That is revenge, Daniel said quietly. I didn't reply. He continued, Tell me, if she comes back when you're successful again, what will you do? I won't let her in, I said immediately. Good, he said. Because success is the best lie detector. When you have nothing, you see who leaves. When you have everything, you see who returns. I nodded slowly. I'm not the same person anymore. What changed? He asked. I stopped doing things for love, I said. Now I do things for respect. For myself. Daniel nodded. Then you're ready. Ready for what? I asked. To rise, he said. That night I went home and looked at my small apartment, my old furniture, and my laptop on the table. This is not the end, I said to myself. This is the beginning. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Lily. Hey, I hope you're doing okay. I looked at the message for a long time, then I put the phone down and said one sentence quietly. You lost me when I lost my money. Stop checking numbers every hour, Daniel said as he walked into my office. That's fear, not strategy. I just want to be sure everything is stable, I said. Nothing is ever stable, he replied. That's why calm people win. Nervous people lose. I leaned back in my chair. The new contract is signed. The second client paid in advance. I think it's working. Daniel nodded. It's not working. It worked. Now your job is to not destroy it with emotions. I smiled a little. I'm not emotional anymore. He looked at me carefully. Everyone is emotional. The smart ones just don't show it. A month later, I moved into a better apartment. Not too big, not too fancy, but clean and quiet. Mark came over and looked around. This is a big upgrade from the depressing box you were living in. It's enough, I said. He opened the window and smiled. You're back. I never left, I said. I just disappeared for a while. He laughed. That sounds dramatic. It felt dramatic, I replied. A week later, I bought a new car. I didn't post it online. I didn't tell many people. I just drove it quietly at night sometimes, reminding myself that I rebuilt everything from zero. One evening I met Daniel for dinner. You look different, he said. Different how? I asked. Calm, he said. Before, you wanted to prove something. Now you don't. That's power. I don't want to prove anything anymore, I said. I just want peace. Money gives comfort, Daniel said. Power gives peace. Silence gives power. I nodded slowly. I understand now. Tell me, he said, if Lily calls you today, what will you do? I won't answer, I said. And if she says she made a mistake, he asked. I'll say everyone makes choices, and choices have consequences, I replied. Daniel smiled slightly. Good. You learned. Later that night Mark called me. I have news, he said. What news? I asked. It's about Lily and Jason, he said. I stayed quiet for a moment. What about them? Jason lost a lot of money, Mark said. Bad investment. Very bad. I didn't say anything. Mark continued. I heard they're fighting a lot. Her business isn't doing well either. I walked to the window and looked at the city lights. I see. You don't sound surprised, Mark said. I'm not, I replied. That's how people like him live. Fast money, fast loss. And people like her? Mark asked. People like her follow money, I said. So when the money falls, they fall too. Mark was quiet for a second, then he said, You've changed. Yes, I said. Before, you sounded hurt when we talked about her, he said. Now you sound cold. I'm not cold, I said. I'm just not blind anymore. That's a good line, Mark said. It's not a line, I replied. It's the truth. A few days later, Lily called me. I looked at the phone and let it ring. Then she sent a message. Hi, how are you? I showed the message to Daniel the next day. And? He asked. I didn't reply, I said. Good, he said. She didn't call me when I was struggling, I said. Now she wants to know how I am. Daniel nodded. People always come back when the storm is over. I'm not a shelter anymore, I said. Good, he replied. You're a mountain now, and mountains don't move for anyone. I smiled a little when he said that, but inside I felt something else. Not anger, not sadness, control. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was not chasing anything. I was building, quietly, patiently, and no one knew how far I had already come. Lily called me again 3 months later. This time, I answered. Hello. I said calmly. There was a small pause, then her voice came. Hi, it's me. I know, I said. How are you? She asked softly. I'm okay, I replied. Just working. I've been thinking about you, she said. Why? I asked. She sounded surprised. What do you mean why? We haven't talked in months, I said. So I'm just curious. She was quiet for a moment, then she said, I miss you. I didn't reply immediately. I wanted to hear what she would say next. Can we meet? She asked. Just to talk. Okay, I said. We can meet. We met at a small cafe a few days later. I arrived first. When she walked in, she looked different. Still beautiful, but tired. Less confident. Hi, she said as she sat down. Hi, I replied. You look okay, she said. I smiled a little. That's a strange compliment. I mean, you look strong, she said quickly. I'm surviving, I replied. She nodded and looked down at the table. I felt really bad after our breakup. I see, I said. I wanted to call you many times, she continued, but I thought you were angry. I wasn't angry, I said. I was just busy trying to rebuild my life. She looked at me quickly. How are things now? Did you recover financially? I looked at her and pretended to hesitate. Not really. I'm still trying. It's slow. She nodded slowly. That must be really hard. It is, I said. But I'm learning a lot. She reached across the table and touched my hand. I always believed in you. I looked at her hand on mine and remembered the night outside her apartment door. I slowly moved my hand away. Thank you, I said calmly. She looked a little uncomfortable. I made a lot of mistakes, she said. We all make choices, I replied. She took a deep breath. Jason and I broke up. I pretended to be surprised. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay, she said, but her voice sounded tired. He changed. People change when money changes, I said quietly. She looked at me sharply, like she was trying to understand if I knew something. He had some financial problems, she said. His investment failed. I see, I replied. And my business didn't work, she continued. Now I have debts. I didn't say anything. I just listened. I feel like everything is falling apart, she said. I'm sorry, I replied, and I meant it, but not in the way she thought. She looked at me and said softly, when I was with you, everything felt safe. I looked at her and asked one question. Did you love me? She didn't answer immediately. I cared about you, she said finally. That's not what I asked, I said. She looked down. I didn't understand your value when I had you. That's an honest answer, I said. She looked up again. Can we try again? I leaned back in my chair and looked at her for a long moment. Why? Because I know you now, she said. Because I trust you. I almost laughed when she said that, but I didn't. You trust me now? I asked. Yes, she said. I know you're a good man. I nodded slowly. I am a good man. But that doesn't mean I'm a stupid man. She looked hurt. I never said you were stupid. You didn't have to say it, I replied quietly. We sat in silence for a few seconds. I'm not asking for money, she said suddenly. I just want another chance. I'm still broke, I said. Remember? She forced a small smile. I'm not with you for money. I looked at her and said calmly, That's interesting. Why? She asked. Because money was the reason you left, I said. She didn't reply. After the meeting, I walked outside and called Mark. So? He asked immediately. She wants to come back, I said. Of course she does, he replied. Jason is broke. I told you, they broke up last month. She has debt now. Big debt. I looked at the street and watched people walking past me. So the same thing she planned for me happened to her. Yeah, Mark said. That's called karma. I took a deep breath. I don't feel happy. Then what do you feel? He asked. I feel free, I said. I called Lily 2 days later. Can we meet again? I asked. Yes, she said quickly. Anytime. Tonight, I said. Same cafe. I'll be there, she replied. This time, I didn't walk to the cafe. I drove my new car and parked right in front where she could see it. I saw her standing outside, looking at the car, then looking at me as I stepped out. You said you were broke, she said. I said I lost everything, I replied calmly. That was true for a while. She looked confused. I don't understand. Let's sit, I said. We sat at the same table as last time. She kept looking at me like she was trying to solve a puzzle. You look different, she said. I am different, I replied. She pointed toward the window. That's your car. Yes, I said. I thought you said you were struggling, she said slowly. I was, I said. But I recovered. So fast? She asked. I looked at her and said, faster than you expected. She didn't reply. I leaned forward slightly. I need to tell you the truth today. She looked nervous. What truth? I didn't lose everything, I said. Not really. She stared at me. What do you mean? I mean I pretended to lose everything, I said. I wanted to see something. See what? She whispered. I wanted to see if you loved me or my money, I said. Her face went pale. Why would you test me like that? Because I heard you, I said quietly. Heard me? She repeated. The night I came to your apartment with a gift, I said. You were talking to Jason. She stopped breathing for a second. You heard that? I heard everything, I said. I heard you call me your wallet. I heard you say you would leave me after I helped you open your business. I heard you say you love him. Her eyes filled with tears immediately. I was stupid, she said. I didn't mean it. You meant every word, I replied calmly. I was confused, she said. I didn't know what I wanted. You wanted money, I said. That's what you wanted. She started crying. I made a mistake. A big mistake. Yes, I said. You did. I thought Jason was better, she said. He had more money, more connections. I thought he could give me a better life. And when his money disappeared, I asked. She looked down. Everything changed. Yes, I said quietly. That's when you called me again. I realized you were the one who really cared about me, she said. I shook my head slowly. No. You realized I was the one who really paid for you. That's not true, she said, crying harder now. I came back because I missed you. I looked at her and felt something strange. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel heartbroken anymore. I just felt tired. You didn't lose me when I lost my money, I said slowly. You lost me when I heard the truth. She covered her face and cried. Please give me another chance. Why? I asked. Because I love you now, she said. I almost smiled when I heard that. Now? Yes, she said. I know your value now. That's the problem, I said. You learned my value, but you never learned my heart. She reached for my hand. I can change. Maybe you can, I said, but not with me. Please, she whispered. I'll do anything. I stood up slowly. That's the difference between us. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. What difference? I was ready to do anything when I loved you, I said, but you were only ready to do something when you needed me. She cried harder. I'm sorry. I know, I said, but sorry doesn't change the past. Then what does? She asked. Nothing, I replied. That's why choices are scary, because once you make them, you have to live with them. I put some money on the table for the coffee and looked at her one last time. I hope you have a good life, I said calmly. Wait, she said. Do you hate me? I thought about it for a moment, then I said, no, I don't hate you. I just don't love you anymore. And that was the most honest thing I had said since the day I met her. The cafe meeting with Lily ended, and I walked outside, breathing in the cool night air. I felt lighter than I had in months. Lighter because I wasn't holding on to illusions anymore. Lighter because I wasn't pretending to be someone for someone else. I had chosen myself. I called Mark as I walked down the street. "You okay?" he asked immediately. "I am," I said. "Better than okay. I feel free." "You sound different," he said. "Calm. Controlled." "I am," I said. "I realized something tonight." "What's that?" he asked. "That the biggest revenge isn't hurting her. It's living better without her," I said. Mark laughed softly. "Finally. You're speaking my language." "I wasted too much energy on anger before," I said. "On wondering if she would regret what she did. But I don't need her regret. I don't need her apology. I just need me." "That's the hardest lesson," he said. "Most people want revenge, but the real power is moving on stronger." I nodded silently, looking at the neon lights reflecting on the wet pavement. "Daniel told me the same thing," I said. "He said silence is power, patience is strength, and control is freedom. I finally understand what he meant." Mark chuckled. "I think you finally learned it the hard way." "Yes," I admitted, "but I'm grateful for it." A few days later, I met Daniel at his office. He greeted me with that calm, unreadable smile of his. "You look unstoppable," he said. "I feel unstoppable," I said. "That's the difference," he said. "Appearance is one thing. Feeling it inside is another. You finally got it." "I couldn't have done it without you," I said. "You taught me patience, strategy, and how to stay silent while building power." "And Mark?" Daniel asked. "He was the one who kept me grounded," I said. "Kept me from making stupid mistakes. Both of you. I owe you more than you know." Daniel nodded. "Good. Gratitude is part of growth. Remember that." "I will," I said. That night, I sat in my new apartment, looking out at the city skyline. My business was growing faster than I imagined. The contracts were piling up. My bank account reflected months of quiet, patient work. But what mattered more was the calm I felt inside. I didn't feel the panic I once did. I didn't feel desperation. I felt control. My phone buzzed. A message from Lily. "Can we talk? Please." I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the reply button. My fingers twitched slightly. I thought about all the nights I cried for her, all the money I gave, all the love I poured into someone who never cared about me. I didn't reply. I didn't even read it fully. I put the phone down and smiled faintly. Because I didn't need her anymore. Because I had chosen myself. Over the next few weeks, my business expanded even more. I hired a small team. I moved into an even bigger apartment, but I kept it modest, quiet. I bought a car I actually wanted, not one to impress anyone. I started dressing the way I liked, not for anyone else. Every choice reflected me, my values, my freedom. Mark visited one evening. "You've changed completely," he said, leaning against the kitchen counter. "I've learned," I said. "I've learned that people show their true selves when the stakes are high. And that's not something to be angry about, it's something to accept." "So, no temptation to contact her?" he asked. I shook my head. "None. She showed her colors already. She doesn't get to rewrite history. I do." He smiled. "That's powerful. Most people can't do that." "I'm done chasing validation from anyone else," I said. "I don't need approval, love, or sympathy from someone who didn't value me." "And how does that feel?" Mark asked. "Liberating," I said. "Like I'm walking into my own life for the first time. Not anyone else's expectations, not anyone else's rules. Mine." A few months later, I was sitting in my office, Daniel on a video call. "You're doing well," he said. "I feel well," I said. "You finally understand what I meant when I said silence is power?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Silence keeps the ego in check. Patience grows strength. Control gives freedom. And all of it comes back to one thing, choosing myself first." He nodded. "Good. Never forget it." I looked around my apartment later that night. No messages from Lily. No reminders of the past. Just the soft hum of the city, the quiet of my own home, and the feeling of power that wasn't loud, but solid, steady, and undeniable. I thought about all the heartbreak, all the betrayal, all the lessons learned. And I realized something important. The revenge I had wanted in my heart, it had already happened. Not because she suffered, not because I caused pain, but because I rose while she stayed the same. I finally understood the meaning of karma. It wasn't a punishment I needed to deliver. It was the natural consequence of her choices, mirrored in her own life. And I was free to walk forward, untouched by it, stronger than before. The next morning, I left my apartment and stepped out into the sunlight. I didn't look back. I didn't hesitate. Everything I had been through, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the loss, had led me here. To a life I built for myself. To a life I would never give to anyone who didn't deserve it. I smiled faintly, breathing deeply, and whispered to myself, I chose me. Finally. And with that, I walked forward, toward everything I was meant to be, stronger, wiser, and free.